Democratic caravan to Venezuela.
Yeah, all these people walked into the You want to go? That's where the socialist paradise is.
It is. I mean, for years we heard that, right?
Right. So, a lot of the critics, when you bring that up about... Well,
we might be getting interrupted on this one. I had to shut off when I was in there. I think, yeah, they're both coming for me for some reason. I don't know. There's something with the car. I mean, I know the inspection. I shouldn't have stayed at that light as long as I did, but I know the inspection is fine. It's a lease. I mean, maybe they couldn't have heard me say the reason why I take the keys. I mean, the thing is, it's really early in the morning, or maybe it's not them. I don't know. They were like looking at me. It was like two officers. It was a girl and a guy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can't film. That's the only thing I can think of at the moment. But I was just walking out, and I said but they're all looking. Maybe this car might fit the description. Well, we're gonna have to pull over, explain to them what we're doing. We're doing a show, but there seems to be something wrong with the car. Yeah, that's him. I don't know why. They're looking at me. If I kept on going, I don't see the reason why they'd want to pull me over, or I don't know. He looked at me like he knew me, like, it's that Scary Jerry or something like that. And the girl too. I don't know. The girl kind of reminded me like I was in my 20s when a girl cop came up to me, some kind of dispute, and I know she'll recall this if she listened in. So this is more like a spot check to see if at any given day. Or I mean, I'm just gonna say she knows me. She knows me, and she knows the story of where I got the two cats, the original ones back. I was going to St. Anthony's. I think it was St. Anthony's. All right, I think we could turn it off because I don't want the noise here. That kind of, I mean, I'll explain the situation. I'll explain this. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But the end of the video, I always, because I come up here, it's early in the morning, one time or two times since I've been doing this show, there's only two instances where it hesitated. It's a lease. It always starts up and everything like that, but it's just like, I'm not, because I just run out here and do the show, get some stuff, and I say to myself, I mean, what if, especially when it's cold, like, what if it don't start, I gotta walk down, or whatever, I don't know, what do you call it, Uber, or something like that, or a taxi, maybe Frank will come up and get me, or something like that. I don't know, there's just certain things I have, and, just things. I guess we all have something. We have this thing where I don't know, we just feel it's like doom or something, or worst case scenarios. So now that I'm over that, it's like a little interruption. Kind of like, I mean, we all have some, things that we dislike and we try to avoid. I mean, then you still gotta go back up and get the car and this and that. Like, I don't want complications early in the morning. I'm not awake. I'm not fully awake to deal with them. And I'm in the middle of my show. Okay. So I said what I said there. But the car's off right now. Am I that worried? Am I worried? It's just, I'd rather have it that way. I'd rather not have that complication while I'm doing the show. I don't need chaos, okay? When it happens, happens, but if I can avoid it, I can avoid it. I mean, what's the difference? When I used to deliver pizzas, I used to leave my car running everywhere I went. Everywhere I went. Sometimes I'd get lost. I mean, I have a pizza in my hand, I'd be thinking like it's the house here, and the next thing you know, I'm like going down the block and everything. Car's still running, music's blasting out of it. I'm in there, and they open the door. Oh, it's Jerry. Hi. And sit there. Oh, you got a cat. You got this. You got that. Oh, I know your cousin. I know this. I know that. Back in the day, like, you just sit there and you talk. Remember one night, I was delivering pizza. It was the last pizza of the night. It was a huge snowstorm. Huge snowstorm. It was, over on where my cousin lives. I think I don't go there that much. I know Meadow Drive and this and that. I don't know this. I think there's a street in Casal. They named it Casal Street or whatever. But I mean, maybe one of those videos I had on there the other day. I was talking about was that time when I had this huge order, and my boss, it was a good friend of his, and the dog. I don't like stuff like that. When I'm working, when I'm doing something, I don't. When I first took theater, I met a good professor. He was all into safety and everything. He's like, yeah, I like that. I just became safety conscientious. My father worked at a safety place at the Waverly Arsenal. It was safety. It was steel stock, but he was safety. So anyways, there would be times, just leave it running. But the winter story there, I knew the lady. No. Oh, got that one wrong. I kind of knew this guy a little bit. This was a snowstorm one. This wasn't the one where you sit there and you talk, or the dog one or anything like that. This was, it was just the end of the night. And I didn't think we should be delivering anyway. I said, man, it's getting bad. It was like 10 o'clock, 11:30. I said, or whatever. It was in the night. Who can remember? It was like a long, long time ago. But I remember it was late. And there was so much snow. And I pulled up in his driveway, give him the pizza and whatever he got. And I'm pulling out. And I just get stuck. And I missed the driveway altogether. And I landed like in this kind of like ditch. And I called Chris, and me and him, we were partners working at the place, and he came. I mean, I remember he got us out. I don't know, maybe it was with his truck or something like that. But he got me out and everything like that. But getting back to what we were doing here today, what we're doing. So, started off with the Bush and all that kind of stuff. All the things that he did. There's gonna be naysayers and everything. But I remember exactly where I was before I pulled up. I was gonna go into the story, but I said I better turn it off. And then when I came out, the one girl was like sitting there like looking at me. And the guy, he was like moving towards my car, he was drinking his coffee, but he had that look. It's like some Italian guy like I know, and I would want to say something to him, but I'm just like, the look I was getting, like there was something wrong or something, like, there was something wrong. So I just got in and said, all right, I don't, I'm already avoiding one crisis here. I might say, well, I'm not really avoiding a crisis because it always starts up. All right, you want to do a check? Let's do a check. See if it starts up. Oh, shit. That's kidding. Now you gotta hold the thing here. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm headed out to... So, when I was like in my 20s, Maria, it was like some kind of dispute. I always had incidents like, like that. But it was always like, it was always like some kind of Italian thing, like, it was like with Bush, like George. Feisty, feisty. But he was a good leader, they say, like, did a lot. Only one term. In his life, kind of similar to the guy we have now. Everybody seems to think is the problem. But I was watching the civil rights thing and everything like that, trying to frame something here from when that began, because we had the whole thing with Nixon and the television, the introduction to television, and it didn't go well that night for Nixon and stuff like that. It was like 11 days for the election, Martin Luther King and everything, they got the vote for the Democrats. I mean, there's a thing where they're saying, Martin was good to both. He was like, I don't know, they say he was a Republican, this and that, or I don't know. Do we know history? Do we know? Other than watching it through the lens of like CNN and MSNBC, ABC, NBC, all this stuff, I mean, because we've been watching the news for the last, 600 days with the Mueller and everything. Can we have a little coffee? Can we please? So we've been watching the news, and 2015. Sorry, my coffee won't stay there. June, I'll say 14th. Goes to my point. I mean, you do believe me? I mean, was it the right date? Was it June 14th, 2015? He came down the escalator. Then he became all these things. The thing I was discussing with Crispo is like, draining swamps. And he's like, he is. I mean, no, he didn't say he is. Never gonna say a good word about Trump, but I mean, what I was getting at is like, isn't the swamp like the priority? I mean, you talk about civil rights, you talk about healthcare, you talk about all this kind of stuff. There was a story about like with China. I mean, who you put up there, the lobbyists, this, that, who's getting what contracts, who's getting this, who's getting that. I know, you got. I was telling Johnny, I said, people got to do their own research on things. Does the swamp need to be drained or doesn't it not? I said all along, and this year I did videos. I said, okay, we get rid of Trump, now what? What would happen if Hillary was elected? Or, I mean, so in other words, is anyone gonna fix things? Is anybody gonna fix things? We know if you want to have all these things, they've been talking about it since the 60s. I got coffee in my hand and the camera. I mean, I'm trying to close this baby up. All right, we're going to have to come back for a third one. I need a timeout.